Hi, so it's Noel from UK Foam Smith and Cosplay here again. So the last two videos I've shot were on moulded muscle chest pieces and back pieces. So I've used the Evil Ted template here, which has everything as separates. So you have the various abdominal shapes all working together here. So this is an alternative to the moulded version. So I've already pre-done the chest piece, which is all done there, and then this is then the lower, sort of like the rib cage area. This is the side abdominals, and then this is the central abdominals. This is for Wolverine cosplay that I'm putting together. I also have the back pieces all done as well. So what I'm going to do is just run you through how I mould them and glue them together, just to give you a bit of a clue. As you can see, all the pieces are pre-cut out, almost all of them. Where they join other pieces, I've cut an outward bevel along here, as you can see there. So I've done that on all the pieces, so when they're curved, they're going to actually join together a lot better. Likewise with all of the abdominal pieces, the individual muscles, done the same there and there. So they're 45-degree bevels all the way around for the top and the middle, and then on three sides of the lower abs, because that's actually forms the bottom of the chest piece itself, so that doesn't need to be done. Now there is an additional piece that goes at the bottom of this, which it's supposed to be the bottom part of the abs, but I don't think it sits too well, so I don't tend to use it. And plus there's going to be a utility belt which would cover it anyway, so I tend to separate that piece, and if anything I use that as a cod or something like that. So what I'm doing is, again, I've got a variety of different size things that I use to create different shapes. And different levels of curvature depending on what it is that I'm doing. So to get these pieces, which are the chest pieces, so I wanted because Wolverine's quite a muscular soul, so I really wanted to sort of create that. So I used the big one first to really sort of form the top part, and go in again afterwards if you're still not happy with it. And then I just really sort of push that piece there sort of around the edge, just to, after I glued them together, just to really sort of try and define those pieces. Obviously that seam needs to be filled at a later stage. I'll come back to that later, but quite happy with the size of the chest pieces and the way that they are. So I'll move them because they're done. So fairly straightforward. Heat gun. I'm going to start with the smaller ab pieces first. So let's start with the bottom. It depends how much of a defined sort of muscle you want. Obviously the smaller the item that you use, the greater the curve that goes on it, the more defined it is. You know, with Wolverine it's quite a defined thing, so I'm going to be using that. So primarily it's just getting heated, and I'm just heating the inside, so I don't want the outside to really be touched until after I put it all together. So I'll heat that first. This is 8mm foam. It's a floor mat, but it's an 8mm one that I found. I use it mainly because of the texture, but actually it's a really good, it's just that little less dense than the 10mm. So you get greater response from it. So yeah, so I'm just rolling that piece over, rolling it around all parts of the section. So it's just using the ball. There we go. So that gives you a nice curve overall. So same again. Well, what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do one half, otherwise we'll be here all night, and who wants that? So once I've done that, I get the next piece, move that to one side. Again, using the ball. This is the middle ab, so I want this to be a lot more sort of defined all the way around. Obviously the bottom ab isn't quite so defined as the middle and the top. So as you feel it cooling, it'll start to form its shape better. There we go. Happy with that? Just give it a little bit more of a squeeze. Ooh. Pushing it right down over it. That gives it just that centerpiece. Right, so now the top part. Again, rolling over the ball. Obviously I want most of the curvature really at the bottom and centre, not so much on the edge and sides. You want to put a little bit of curve, but most of the concentration is in this part here, because that's actually the part that you need to just carry it over. And there we go. That gives you a nice curve there. Obviously this is the lower ab. I'm not going to do too much with this because it doesn't really need it, because it's the bottom part of the ab sort of side, so it just needs a little bit really just around this section here. So I don't need to heat it up too much, and I'm going to use a bigger anvil just to really do that bit there. And then obviously just for continuity, just moving it around a little bit, but really it's just about getting a little bit of curvature on that bit. Okay, this is the lower part, the rib cage, so this needs to be sort of quite strong through the centre. So this is the bit that joins the chest, this is the armpit. So realistically I need to sort of really push that around to there. So I'm still going to use the bigger anvil because again it's not like the abs, so it doesn't need to be quite so curved. And again, beveled here because when it all joins in the centre, I want it to have that sort of crevice down the centre as well that matches with the chest and follows down through the centre of the abs. So again, gives it a really nice curve. So that's going to sit through now on the centre of the chest piece. I've just noticed that I've gone 45-degree bevel here, but then I wanted to straighten up as I do on both sides. It's just the way that it connects to the chest piece, it works better that way. So I'm just going to correct that by just taking out the slight bevel that's in it and just straightening it up. The good thing about doing an outside bevel is it's very easy to straighten up. So that's what I've done there. Right, so just the slightest piece that comes off. Right. So like I say, I'm going to do all that after. So let's start to put together this. So you got 2 pieces of the chest here. Like I say, I've done a bevel, but as you can see, sort of at the top, towards the top there, I've actually made that straight, because I'm actually going to glue to there, because it goes on like a t-shirt essentially. You need to keep a little bit of a gap there just to get it on and off. If you glue it all the way to the top, you find that it's quite tight to get on and off the head, so you're better off just doing it to there. So I'll straighten that up, because that's actually not going to be glued together. So right, so trusty contact cement. Now if you haven't got the Evil Ted's Vampire Slayer chest and back pattern, I would highly recommend it. It's so versatile. I mean, I've used it for Green Lantern, Robin, Nightwing, Batman Beyond. It really has a lot of versatility for different characters, particularly DC characters, because they're often more muscular in that way. But I mean, you can easily move it into different other ones as well. So as I say, this is the armpit, so we don't need to glue that section there. So I'm just going to really make sure I get the glue right to the ends on this one. It's the last thing you want, is it not working. There we go. Obviously this is where it sort of glues to the bottom part. So I'm going to apply all the glue now. So it's quite warm here again today, so it's drying quite quickly. So by the time that I've glued everything together, or applied the glue, the first piece should be ready and dry. There's that bit. And then the lower abs, again, this is the bit where that joins to that. So I just need to glue that section there. I'm going to put the two, once I've done the other one, then it's a matter of putting the 2 pieces together. And then you've got the abs. So obviously this is the top. So grab that bit there. And that's where it joins to the next ab. So we glue that there. This is the centre ab. And this is obviously where it applies to the side as well. So you're doing 3 sides. The only one you're not gluing is the one that's going to join the centre, in the centre, and when we put the 2 halves together. I tend to find that doing a whole half and then joining the 2 halves together, it tends to go together a little bit easier. It's a tricky gluer. If you've actually not seen Ted's video that goes alongside his pattern, then I highly recommend it. There we go, so that's the bottom, that's 90 degrees, these are all bevels. So that's the bottom. This is the top where it joins the previous ab, and the side where it actually joins to the side abdominal piece. There. Okay. So yeah, if you haven't seen the video for the Vampire Slayer, then I highly recommend it. It's the part 2, it's got 2 parts to it. The first part is how we made the patterns, and part 2 is the actual sort of bringing it together. But it doesn't cover the back in that, so I'm going to try and cover that once I put this half together. I think I might do the whole thing. You want to see the whole chest and back? Let's do the whole chest and back. Right. So there's the chest piece. So as I say, this is the centre part, and this is the outside part. So I'll start at the armpit and continue the sort of curl of that first. If you've paid attention to the patterns, you'll see that there's registration marks. So you've got to join those registration marks together. And the reason that there's a bevel in this section is because so it goes together that bit easier. If it was 90 degrees all the way round, it wouldn't go together very well. And the reason I go back to being 90 degrees again in the centre is because I needed that to come together much stronger. So yeah, so pull that together. Alright, so that's kind of the rib cage. It's just got a little bit of curve, not too much, which is what I wanted. So obviously I always mark these so I know which one's the top. That's the top. So I always mark on the top there so I know where I'm going, because sometimes you do lose a little bit of understanding of where you are. So again, starting at the outside edge, because I know that that's all continuous. Again, beveled edge, because I want a slight difference between the rib cage and the side of the abs. Joining the registration marks together, and then as the curve comes round, it begins to bend it into shape. I'll be a bit careful on this bit just to really bring things together. Boom, there we go. So it gives you a little bit of a definition between the two. Obviously if you didn't want too much of a definition in that, you can always put it in a position. So this is the side that goes over the hip. So yeah, so that's where that goes. Okay, so let's put the abs together. So starting at the top, so that's this one. Now, because it's all joining in the centre, you can use that as your start point. Again, paying attention to your registration marks, getting them together. Obviously, the more curves that you have in, the more difficult it becomes. A bit of push and pull and everything. Oh, there you go. So that's what happens when you don't pay attention to what you're doing. So I just need to apply a bit more glue down the side where the abs are going to join. So when you get a bevel meeting a bevel, it kind of leaves you in a really sort of strong position to get a really defined sort of crevice of a shape, which is what you really want. Let's put a bit of heat on that because it needs to catch up. Okay, these are the bits of the edit out of other videos. But, first keep mine a little bit more real. Okay. You can see that that's still not quite gone on the way I wanted it to. So as it goes more matte, and if you can see that, you can see some areas that you miss. Just got to be a bit careful on that one, because if you do, it won't glue together very well. So yeah, I'm just going to put a little bit more on there, just where I felt like it wasn't quite right. A bit more heat. Pushing that together there, the registration mark there. This is where it gets tricky, because you're trying to bend all your parts together. Because it's all curvatured, you can pinch things together. Oops, amazing. There we go. So let's pinch that together. Start to see it forming. This is your centerpiece. Again, starting in the centre, following the registration marks, join your bevels together, registration marks together, and then join it to the side abdominal wall. Still registration marks there, so you can still follow it easily. So I'm rushing the glue a little bit here, so it's trying to fight me a little bit. That's alright, just keep going. Starting to get that kind of shape going now. Following the abs, following the registration marks. Get that firmly together. before you then join your registration marks together on the lower part. You see, it definitely wants to come apart. Obviously using a thicker material as well. I mean, you could do this with 5mm and it'd probably be much easier. Boom, there you go. So that's your chest down to the side of your abs. That's one side done. So it's pretty quick and easy to put together. It's a well done pattern and doesn't require a huge amount from you. So it's got to be a good thing really, because you know it's all about speed. Because we are a bit impatient. We want to put them together well, but put them together quick. And the reason I'm doing so much of this at the moment is just that I've had such a rush of orders for different characters. I really want to get these out sort of quite quickly. Normally I don't have this many to do, but you know, it's all going very well, so I want to keep up with those orders, don't let those people down. They're very excited about receiving it and I want to do a good job for them. There you go, there's one ad. Again, centre ab, so you really want to get a good curvature on this one, sort of all the way round. Feel it cooling in your hands as you're going, so of course as it cools it's going to set in shape. So bottom ab, 90-degree shape there. So that's the bottom. So obviously that's the bottom shape. So again, you're trying to sort of think about things as when you're trying to figure out where the parts are going. Curvature is really towards the top, as this is the bottom part of the abs where it becomes part of the baseline of the chest piece. So again, you don't want it too much to be curved at the bottom, just want to join, but you want the abs to match. Okay, 1, 2, 3 abs. So rib cage, so again centre part here, so you want the most amount of curve through this shape here, lessening as you get towards there. Swap that for that. Keeping the sort of main part of what I want. Okay, get your anvil. Starting at the centre piece where you want the most amount of curve. Just drag that bit over, really sliding it over. And then obviously as you're getting towards the outer part, you're lessening the amount that you're in there, but you still want to maintain a little bit of the curve so you've got continuity in the shape. And there we go. Good. And then the lower part of the abs, this being the centre part, this being the bottom over the hip. So concentrating on the top part and the centre where it joins the abs. bit set up there. Right, so there's your parts again. There's your chest, there's your centre, there's your below centre, lower ab, middle ab, top ab, and that's how you want to glue it together. So, again, get your contact cement. Really apply that there. Remember, this is, I did the chest piece in the actual sort of pectorals, the pectorals even, in 10mm, because I just wanted a lot more chest definition. You know, we're very much aware that Wolverine is a large pectoral setup, so Hugh Jackman had to work very hard on that one. So we want to do the same. So the 10mm just gave me that extra bit of depth to it. So, and then just cutting down a little bit to the 8mm just to really sort of emphasise the chest size. There you go. Remember, this is the bit where it joins the rest, including the abs. Making sure that I'm getting to the edge this time. Not the same mistake again. That's 2 edges there. So obviously we've got the bit that joins that at the top here, and then obviously the bit that I forgot, which is the bit where it joins the abs. So we just apply the glue there. Okay, now we do the abs. Top where it joins the rib cage, and the bottom where it joins the second ab. Kind of helps a little bit sometimes when you actually describe what you're doing. So that's where it joins the first ab, so the second ab, and it joins the first. Then where it joins the ab side, and where it joins ab number 3. Top where it joins ab 2, side where it joins the side of the abs. Don't need to do the bit at the centre yet, and obviously we don't need to do the bottom because that's the base of the whole thing. So I'm going to let that cure a little bit longer this time. So let's move all that out of the way while it dries a little. So, right, so these are the back pieces. Again, I've done beveled edges on them, just because I want some back definition as well. So that's going to join there like that as well. So I'm going to use, for the bottom part of the back, I'm kind of going to do it in 2 parts. So this bit, this edge here, it's the spinal part, where it joins as part of the spine, and this top bit is what curves over the shoulder. So for that, I'm going to use this anvil. Oops, getting entangled. Just because I want a really kind of definite curve on this. I don't want it to be ridiculous, so but obviously I need to get a bit more of a curve on that. I'll use my big dome for that one. because it's the base of the back. I need it to curve. Now what I've done with this, because one thing I found with Evil Ted's pattern is, for me it just felt like it stopped a little short. So I've actually extended this part. So that's where the pattern ended, and I've extended it down here just because I want it to go further down the back. Okay, so this is the centre, this is the bit where the second bit joins, that's the side that joins the front. You can always go at it again even after you've glued it if you feel you want a bit more definition. I'm going to stick with that for the time being. So let's move that over there for now. Let's put that there. Okay, now we do the bottom part. So remember, this is sort of the collarbone area, sort of the back of the shoulder, so you do want a little bit more than what you've got elsewhere. Okay, so I feel that's good, and once you join the bevels as well, and that makes the whole thing work that much better. So yeah. Okay. Wonderful. Okay. So, shoulder blade. Don't want too much going on here, just enough. So again, top half of this needs to be a slightly deeper, sort of a bit more of a curve on it. larger bowl. Just really just bring that in so the curve actually sort of works towards the spine, but not so much so that you overdo it. Okay, so it's just got a little bit of a curve into it. That's the way I want it. Okay. Pop them over there for now. Let's put this together. Should be ready now. So again, starting at the outside edge where it becomes part of the shoulder arm socket, following your registration marks. Into that bevel. And just follow your edge to the edge. Okay. And this part, same thing, starting at the outside edge. Following your registration marks, just put those bits together. Bit of pushing and pulling required there. Okay, just got that in. Put it together nicely. Start on the inside edge now, where it's going to join the other piece. Just following your registration marks again. Pinch that together from the back. Okay, mid-lab, starting on the centre edge, registration marks. Punch that together, registration mark, push that together. As I say, it's quite thick foam, so we'll try and fight you. And then last but not least, bottom edge. So use the centre and your registration marks. Got them together. Them together, down to the edge, just push that together there. There we go. So there are your two halves that are going to go together. This is the fun part, because this takes a really difficult it's a difficult thing to glue together. So let's do that first, put the glue on, and then I can start to think about the back. So basically doing the inside edge through the whole piece. Make sure you get right up to the edge. And into all those, and then just where I've gone from, I've taken the corner off to keep that there, so I'm only going about halfway up. Okay. Same on the other edge. And then up to just first registration mark in the centre there. There we go. Alright, so let that cure for the minute. So move that over there, keeping the glued edges apart. So where are we? Let's grab our parts here. Right, so if you have got the template, which is there, you'll find that that's all front and no back. So you kind of have to figure the back out, which is a bit unhelpful, but not a lot we can do about that. It's a separate file for that, but I put it all under one, not thinking about it. So we're kind of looking at it together here. So this is the side, and this joins up, and then this piece here joins to the front, makes the whole thing come together. Registration marks all look good, they all line up. So yeah, so that's your edges. So I'll glue that now. So I had a bit of a dull blade, still waiting for delivery of my new blades. So I had to make do. Not ideal, but as it actually is going on the inside as a bevel, I wasn't so fussed, but it does eat a lot more glue. So you've got to be really sure to make sure that you really cover the edge, otherwise you will end up with dry spots. If you end up with dry spots, that's where it won't go together very well. So, but it will be hidden. I would like to have had a bit more time, but I was worried, because as you can see, even during doing this video, I've lost daylight. So I'm doing my best with the artificial light that I've got. There we go. That's two parts. So same on this edge. Again, it's a bit rough, so it's going to need a bit of extra. Thing is though, we'll get more bite, so once it's together it ain't shifted. So there we go, and final part. So again, that's the top, so this is the edge that you want to do. So there's your parts there. And there. Pop that back in there for now. Right, what I'm also going to do is put the spine together. Unfortunately, Ted didn't cover this bit from what I remember in the video, so I thought it'd be quite handy to show. Other side. Be sure to cover both edges because you really want a strong bond. So just checking, see wet and dry spots. There we go. Okay, so let those bits dry off. So let's carefully move these so they don't stick together. Okay, bring the chest pieces back, which should be cured by now. Okay, so arguably, is it better to start at the top or the bottom? Personally, I think what I found is it doesn't really matter, it's equally as hard. So let's start at the bottom. So again, bringing together the beveled edges, using the registration marks to keep you on track. And the tricky bit is where you curve them, you then kind of have like a little sort of bit in the middle. Let's get those registration marks together. There we go. Let's get those together. So basically what I'm doing is I'm just getting the registration marks to line up. Like so. And then I get behind, start pinching these bits together. And you've got to watch it because you can easily end up with the wrong look. There you go. There we go. Push those together. They're curved around anyway. Oops. Push them together. And then push them together. So the thicker the foam, the harder the job. Because it just hasn't got as much give as a finer foam. Okay, so now I'm coming up to the centre, just going to get those last bits in, and then push it back so it glues together, and get all the bits in. There we have it. So it's still a bit more pushing and pulling and squeezing and teasing to kind of get it all together, but you get the gist. Now you end up with quite a strong chest piece. Okay, so that's how that goes. Right, we should be somewhere near. This being cured now. So we started on the right, so we'll start on the right. Okay, again, starting on the outside edge. Paying attention to your registration marks. Bit of pushing and pulling required on these bigger pieces. Start to join up quite well once you're on a bit of a roll, and then finally join your top edge up. And that's that. Looks quite cool. I like this. Right, so same again on this side. Starting on the outside edge. Those registration marks together. This is where it gets a little bit kind of pushy pulley. Drag those two together, and after that it all flows a lot better. So eventually you join up at the top. Now I'm going to put a collar on this anyway, so it doesn't really matter to me that it's not perfect here yet, because I'm not that bothered, because I'm going to clean up what I can with the Dremel. Okay, so there we go. So a bigger, straighter piece, so it's a little bit more tricky. But keep your registration marks going. So I'm really just joining the kind of edge together to make sure I've got everything where I want it. It joins up all the way to the top. Boom. There we go. Now push it all together to get those inside edges glued together. And pinch it together just to really ensure that everything is strong. So you can see where the bevels are. And when you curve it around, you get a nice kind of almost muscular sort of setup to that. So last but not least, is to just join the chest and back together. And what I tend to do is I leave straps on both sides, so not only does it make it a lot easier to take on and off, but also if you use elastic, it can fit a variety of shapes. So if you want to lend it to somebody or sell it, they're not bound to have the same body size as you. Okay, so one thing I do want to show you is the difference between the 8 and the 10. I don't know if you can see that very well, but there is a difference there. So you've got to be connecting the edge to be flush here, so there'll be a step down and a bit behind where it doesn't matter. Right, so we leave that the way it is. So yeah, you know, it is a matter of kind of trying different bits out, having a go, and then, you know, just because the pattern's there doesn't necessarily mean that you need to stick to it. You know, we're all creative beings here, so we can actually get to a position where we are able to manipulate plans to better suit what it is that we're looking for. But whilst the hard work has been done by these gifted individuals that create patterns in the first place, you know, what's the first thing about rules is that they're there to be broken. So it really is a matter of deciding how much you want to stick to the plan, or as to how much you want to kind of bend the plan to suit what your cos plan is. So as you can see, by not gluing that bit together, I've created a bit more of a V. So. Okay, see how we're doing with this glue on there. Like I say, thankfully it's quite a warm evening. So the glue is actually getting quite a strong tack quite quickly. Right, so we join at the shoulders, joining at the top edge, because they're the two that you want flush. And push the whole thing together. And then same on the other side, joining the top edge, nice and flush, really strong. Oh, I've been a little bit too soon on the glue there. Hold that together for a bit, start to pull apart. Together again a little bit more. Boom. So that's what you end up with. It's pretty strong. So it's going to be a bit longer now. But yeah, let's see if I can pop this on. So yeah, very Wolverine-esque. Go very nice with a Wolverine helmet. Let's grab that. Let's grab the back. Pull that round a little bit. Whoops. And then you have the back part. So there you go. Well, I hope that's all very useful to you, and that you found it helpful. Alright, good luck, happy building. Remember, if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's UK Foamsmith. IG, then you go to UK Foamsmith and Cosplay, and if you want to buy the stuff, then it's on Etsy and UK Foamsmiths. So, look forward to seeing you again. Alright, take care.